What's up, everybody? Over the holiday break, I was lucky enough to catch La La Land with some of my family, and I got some shit to say about it. So I went into it thinking like, okay, I might like the movie, but I'm not gonna like fucking love the movie. Because in the decades of me watching movies, I think the only two musicals that I really got into were Sweeney Todd, the Tim Burton movie, and also the movie Oliver from 1968, because I watched that with my grandma all the time, and I fucking love that movie. But I still kind of enjoyed the movie, despite the fact that I think that musicals are more of like a stage and theater kind of thing. Like if La La Land was a play, I would be much more interested in going to see it in like that type of a setting. I like a live setting when it comes to music, mainly because in a lot of musicals, I've seen like people's mouths are opening a certain way, and then whoever did the ADR or the voiceover that you do in post-production, it sounds like their mouth is like way wider than how it looks on screen, and sometimes it just doesn't sync up, and it really takes me out of a movie. Like sometimes musicals feel like mediocre like music videos, if that makes any sense. However, in this flick, I didn't actually see too much of that. And some of the dance numbers in this movie are like 10 plus minutes, and it's like one take every time. I mean, there's only one or two, I think, that are actually that long, but it's still, like, that's fucking sweet. Even if that's not my preferred cup of tea, like, that's still, I can understand the ridiculous amount of, like, choreography, and everybody has to, like, hit their mark at the right time. Like, that's really hard to do. So the movie gets a lot of props for being able to do that. And I didn't find this out till after I was done watching the movie, but apparently this movie was written and directed by Damien Chazelle, who wrote and directed Whiplash, and he also wrote 10 Cloverfield Lane. So this guy's batting 1,000 for me. Because Whiplash is a fucking fantastic film, period. But anyway, so the acting is pretty much amazing across the board, and J.K. Simmons has a little cameo in the movie, which I enjoyed very much. But seriously, I don't think I've seen Emma Stone or Ryan Gosling do better. They're just trying to make it big in show business. That's all the movie's about. And this movie really highlights LA, or from what I've heard about LA. I haven't actually been there, sadly. But I saw it with my uncle, who actually lives like in the suburbs of LA, and he's like, dude, they totally captured like the air of what it's like to be like a struggling show business person there. And I trust my uncle, so I'll take his word for it. And the movie was pretty funny. It didn't try too hard to be funny. It just like came out that way. Like this could be a serious thing that happened in real life, but it makes you chuckle at the same time. I thought that was great. The scenery in the movie's amazing. Like there's a lot of good shit to love about this movie. However, as good as the movie was, there were a couple things that I thought were off. The pacing was a little bit weird. Like the first half of the movie is way more musical, and then the second half is way more drama. Like it didn't feel very balanced in my opinion. The first dance number takes place like in LA traffic, which I've heard is notoriously bad, especially around like rush hour. And that's like the first like opening dance number, which I thought was kind of a brilliant idea. But like after more than 5 minutes of them doing their little song and dancey thing, I thought it was just like, okay, you guys are just showing off. Like, is this like wrap it up? I was thinking like, oh shit, I hope the rest of the movie isn't just like in your face showing off like this is what we can do. Luckily, there was a lot more to it than that. But again, I think that was one of the things that like made the pacing like really weird to me, because it was just a little bit too in your face, and the rest of the movie was just like, hey, we're talented, but very subtly. Prime example, right after Stone and Gosling actually like meet up for the first time, kinda, there's a really good like tapping number. Like it just felt like it flowed way better with the movie, if that makes any sense. And you know, being a non-musical fan, I have to admit I did space out for a couple of the musical numbers, like midway for like, you know, 30 seconds at a time. As a musician, I know that's blasphemy, but I really had trouble getting into it, because again, this is not like, it's not really my scene, and I'm not like trying to get into showbiz, so it's really hard for me to relate to a lot of the things in the movie. I feel like if I go to LA for a week or something like that, I will see a lot of the things, and it'll be a little bit more resonant for me, but it just kind of wasn't, and I felt like I missed out a little bit. But hey, what are you gonna do? Oh, one last thing that I really enjoyed is that John Legend has kind of a cameo in the movie, and he said something that was really meaningful to me, because him and Gosling are going back and forth about jazz and how it's kind of a dying thing, but they're trying to keep it alive, but you gotta kind of mix it up in order to do that. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but John Legend said something along the lines of, you can't be a revolutionary and be traditional at the same time, because those are two contradicting things. And I'm like, that's genius. Because generally speaking, in conversation, I think traditional is one of the ugliest words in the English language, because it's basically holding humanity back, in my opinion. Not all traditions, but a lot of traditions. So that whole sentence just like made so much sense to me immediately. Because the essential goal behind a revolution is change, and traditionality is doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's really counterproductive if you think about it. So I just really identified with that statement. And I won't spoil anything, but I have to say I loved the ending. I thought it was very creative and very well done, and I totally couldn't have seen it go any other way. So despite the fact that I loved a lot of things about this movie, it was a little bit hard for me to get into it because I'm a little bit removed from that culture, and also the musical culture. I'm really not in tune with that kind of thing. But whatever, despite all that, I think this movie gets a good 7.7 out of 10. Long story short, I highly recommend this for pretty much anybody. If you can stand musicals, you're gonna like this movie a lot. But anyway, that's enough of my yapping. What are your thoughts? Hop in the comments, let me know what's up if you saw the movie, or if you're excited to see the movie, say that too. Other than that, if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I'll catch you guys later.